Right, so we are trying out the new flight sim. Well, last year's flight sim, we just got like a UK update, which looks pretty cool, and I have been playing this game for the entire day. Yeah, so what I actually want to do is I wanted to fly from Brighton to Portchester, and these are the closest airports to that. So I'm going to take a few like detours and move around and that kind of thing. Hopefully this isn't being too slow. It seems a bit unpredictable at times, so I don't really know if it's going to be working or not. But I guess we'll find out. Let's see if I can load into VR. Okay. Swap into VR mode. There we go. Right, should be able to see what's going on. Centered. Let's give it a whirl. Right, so yeah, as I say, I've been playing this most of the day. We're actually going to be I was going to do a night flight, but I decided against it because I did a long night flight a minute ago, and it's just dark everywhere. You can't actually see anything. So I'm going to do one starting at 4, and then by the time we get to Portchester, it might be dark enough for like the sun going down and all that kind of stuff, and it might be kind of pretty. I hope so. I didn't actually look how long the flight is. It's not very long at all, because obviously it's from not that far away, because they're very, very close. You would never do this flight in real life, I reckon. But yeah, we're gonna fly it in a tiny plane, not any like jump jet or anything crazy. But yeah, I quite like this plane, but I'll show you it once it's loaded in. It's got a big open window, although it does make things a little bit dark, so occasionally I just pop my head through the glass, but that's good enough. But yeah, I've had a few problems with this game a couple of times throughout the day, with it crashing and stuff, so hopefully it won't crash. You can see it's a little bit glitchy as it's like loading things, but all VR games are really. Right. Should probably have... Okay, cool, I've got the destination marked there. Click ready to fly. Just going to get myself into position. That's good. Yeah, I can put my head out of the glass and that's fine. It's comfortable for the flight. It's a little bit high. But yeah, I think we've got the time just about right. Okay. So, let's turn off the parking brake. Up the throttle. And away we go. Yeah, for a long time I didn't know that the parking brake was a thing that existed, so I could never actually take off, whereas now it's super easy. Who knew parking brakes stop you from being able to move? Right, okay, so I think it's a pretty much straight line there, but what I want to do is take a little detour to the south, because we want to find Brighton first. So I'm going to follow the coast first. Hopefully this is streaming okay. I have no idea, and I can't be bothered to go and look at it. It's only really for me anyway. I'm the only one who's actually going to watch this, so I don't really care that much. Is that a big field? I don't know what that is. I don't know what we're trying to grow in there. Sorry if this is going to be a bit glitchy to watch. Yeah, it isn't perfect, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that this is even possible, so I've got to cut it a little bit of slack, I guess. But yeah, no, yes, it's a nice little plane. I seem to always use this one at the moment. It's quite a nice looking plane. It's pretty fast as well for what it is. Yeah, ooh, look at that sun. Look at that sunset. Isn't that pretty? So good. Okay, I don't really know geography that well. Hopefully this will teach geography to me. So we're just going to kind of play it by ear and follow the coast. I think just over there is Brighton, and then we're going to follow the coast around and try and get to Portchester by following the directory to the other side, because pretty much right next to it. So we've got a coastal town of some sort here. I don't know what it is, but like Brighton's so obvious when you get there that it's going to be a good landmark. So bear right a little bit. Let's head down a little bit so we can see the coast nice and pretty. Oh, this is such a beautiful game. So we haven't got it on like full high res because it is only the Quest that's running on. So we're struggling a bit when I was trying to do it on. Oh, look at those cliffs! I might just turn around. Okay, yeah. Look at them. They're so freaking beautiful. Slow down a little bit so we can appreciate them a little bit more. There we go. Yeah. Oh, I've still got my landing gear up, so let's deal with that. Right. Yeah. So okay. Yeah, I know what I'm looking at now. So we're very close to Brighton now. So just coming up in front of us, you can see just at the edge of where the White Cliffs end is Brighton, and Hove next to it. Oh, that was a little glitch. I don't know what happened there. Let's speed up a little bit. It's complaining at me because I'm flying very low, a bit fast for this altitude, I think. Is it complaining at me? I don't actually know all the buttons yet for like setting altitude and all that kind of thing, so I'm just playing this with an Xbox controller. Basically playing like GTA equivalent of planes. Anyway, so yeah, so here's lovely Brighton. So that's Brighton Pier in front of us, coming into view slowly. Yeah, so not all of these buildings are pristine. Some buildings are flat where they should be buildings. So I don't think it's using Google Earth or Google Maps. It's using Bing Maps or something. So there's quite a lot of missing holes and stuff. But they've also done a lot of work to model popular things like the pier here, which we'll see as we fly over it, which is very pretty. Yeah, look at that. Oh, especially with the sunset behind it. Isn't that beautiful? Just watch it go by. Hell yes. Very pretty. That. Okay. So yeah, oh okay, that last time I was here, that tower didn't exist. So I've just recently installed the UK package. So that was added as part of the UK pack. That tower. I don't know what that tower's called, but it's a landmark of Brighton. But yeah, so we travel along, fly past Hove. I think we're in Hove. Yeah, that's Hove. And then we're just going to follow the coast down and make our way to Portchester. I don't know if this shows distance. Let's reduce the throttle a little bit. I can zoom in. Distance 3 point. Yeah, okay, cool. So 39. Is that meters? No, you can't be meters. A little bit, of course. But yeah, I'm going to join up with the main, as the crow flies, line. Yeah, we're just going to. Oh, look at that! Look at that sunset. It's so pretty. Yeah, seeing things from above in this kind of at this kind of height, you can't really tell that it's not well textured in some areas. Like it's so pretty. Look at that! Look at that for design. Like this is why I really like UK towns and villages and cities. If you look at this kind of thing in America, everything is like super regimented, so a little bit more like the regimented lines you've got here with the houses. But then, if you look over this side, look at how pretty that is. That squiggly roads going everywhere, nothing is organised, kind of looks like a tattoo. It's just so beautiful. Right, held in distance. Cool, yeah, it's moving at the same time. So yeah, not a super fast jet or anything, but this is a lovely plane to fly. Absolutely enjoy it. Just look at that greenery as well. You can't really get that much other places. So I mean, you can do like live weather, which is a really cool setting. So you can have the same weather as the real place is happening right now, kind of thing. Currently, I've got it set as like partial clouds, so we've got a bit of texture going on. It's not like a perfectly clear day, just a little bit of cloud. Yeah, as I say, like I set it to like so you get like beautiful sunsets going on there. So yeah, this is so good. I'm really enjoying this game. I've literally been playing it for the entire day. It's kind of crazy, really, but it's such fun. Such fun. My thumb's getting a little bit tired for playing this game so much. But yeah. So I'm currently playing, just with an Xbox controller, which is a little bit weird. So I'm probably going to try and get one of those proper joystick, thruster, master, whatever they're called. Very much sounds like a sex toy. But yeah, I'm going to try and get one of those pretty soon, so I can actually play this with a small resemblance of realism. What airport is that? We're just flying over an airport there. Don't know. But cool. Yeah, there's a lot more airports in the UK than I imagined. Like, it seems like there's airports all over the place. I thought they were a lot more sparse, but there's a lot of like small runways. Obviously, there's like the major London railways, airports, but yeah, there's a lot of small ones as well. I mean, Leon Solent is a good example of that. I know that airport quite well because we used to spend a lot of time in Leon Solent when I was younger. So we used to drive by it like once a week, pretty much. Why is this flashing at me? It's going too fast, I think. Oh, it's because I was tilting down a little bit. Look at that pretty cloud. The cloud is lovely, isn't it? Oh, this is so beautiful. So wonderful. You get a few glitchy things going on in front of it, but other than that, it's lovely. Look at those trees. Those trees are pretty cool. Yeah, this is where I can just like stick my head out the window. It's a bit bizarre, but it works. Only in VR can you get this kind of experience as well. This is so cool. That is something that VR is definitely breaking down the barriers of. Having these kind of experiences just wouldn't have been possible until now. Without a lot of money, I should say. And obviously a lot of training, because I can just jump into this game in like less than 5 minutes. I don't have to worry if I crash, because there is no crash animation. You're able to just land in this game. It's pretty good. I was messing around with the developer options earlier as well, where you can just make yourself appear in any longitude and latitude place on Earth. So it's really useful when you know where you want to go, but you don't know precisely where it is from trying to like, click in the map, because the map isn't that accurate. Like the map that they've got, the map viewer they've got in the game, you can click anywhere you like on Earth and start flying there, but it's not a very detailed map, so getting an accurate location is quite difficult. You're kind of guessing a little bit. Whereas in developer mode, you can actually just type in direct latitude, longitude, and yeah, basically spawns you straight there. And you can change planes, and you can do a lot of interesting things in developer mode. So I imagine a lot of fun features are going to come out of people playing around with that. Yeah, that's one thing that I've read about today. Is there have been people adding lots of like landmarks and stuff from Google Earth into this game. There's quite a strong community of people that are adding those kind of assets. So hopefully that'll grow things and bring more obscure landmarks, I guess, into reality. I say obscure though, to be fair, they've only just added like UK landmarks of like London and kind of thing. Like, they've very recently added proper landmarks in there, so I guess in time. They have got, to be fair, they have got to model the entire world. You have to give them a little bit of slack, I guess. Okay. Yeah, when I was playing this in one of the other planes about an hour ago, I did find that the plane just constantly complained at me and told me I was stalling. Like I wouldn't be able to move at all without stalling. Even if I set into like autopilot, the autopilot was also stalling the plane. So I don't really know what was happening there. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I really like this plane. It's quite kind of forgiving, quite easy to use. Yeah, I mean the cool thing about the cockpit is, although I'm just using an Xbox controller right now, you can actually control almost everything other than the joystick with like mouse clicking and stuff. So you've got like the cursor and it like snaps itself around various things, so I can control the throttle here if I want, which is really cool. You've got little tooltips over each of these things, so you can say, okay, this one does this, this one does this, which is really interesting. So I could just like turn off the plane if I wanted to, which is just bonkers, but so much fun. Yeah, it's got like, I think it's got just the right level of like realism. I mean, obviously people go crazy with this kind of thing, like they go absolutely mad and like make it like the most realistic thing in the world, but this has got just enough realism so it looks really pretty and you feel like you're doing a lot more than you actually are. It's just so wonderful. Right, how close are we? So we're currently 26. I don't know what I can't actually read what the unit is. It's not quite, like the focal distance isn't quite right on this what headset, on this setup, because I'm currently doing this through virtual desktop. So you can play this through the link cable, and most people do because obviously most of the time it's faster. But I've got a strong enough internet connection where I can actually just stream it over virtual desktop, so I'm completely untethered, which is really cool. So I could actually just kind of play this anywhere kind of thing. And I'm messing about with shadow cloud gaming, which is a really interesting thing. It's actually ended up that, so I'm not doing it for this at the moment, but in the past I've played around with Shadow Desktop, which is like basically a cloud gaming service. So you've got a completely isolated like cloud PC that you have control over, so you can install games and the games stay there. So it's like your PC but hosted in the cloud. But yeah, so I've been playing around with that, and because my upload speed is actually really bad at this house, but my download speed is really good, what I can do is use the benefit of the upload speed of the cloud server, and you actually get a lot better kind of results. So especially for VR games where like obviously your position is really, really important. If the upload speed is really low, then your position is like a little bit out and it can be a bit disorientating. Right now it seems pretty fine, but sometimes it can be a bit dodgy, particularly low. But yeah, so I've been trying it with the Shadow PC, and because it's actually then streaming it and it's using the upload speed of the cloud PC, it actually seems to work a little bit better, which is kind of cool actually. But yeah, so I'm going to explore that a little bit more. But yeah, it's been fun. All of this, I just really enjoy technology. If it wasn't obvious. Yeah, so I'm playing this on the Quest 2, if anyone is wondering, if anyone is watching. But, oh, look at that reflection on the water. Oh yeah, that's why we play it. That's what we play it for. Oh yeah. So pretty. So yeah, it's flashing and complaining at me at my speed, so I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah. So this is a really, really nice flight. Perfect time of day to be doing it as well. So I was flying in a night flight just before this, trying to find my own house, which is really interesting because like not all buildings in this game are quite right, so it's hard enough trying to find locations when it's like daytime like this, because like some of the buildings will be like the wrong shape and it'll kind of really throw you off. Like trying to just use the geometry of the land is surprisingly difficult. So most of the time it's like basically following river geometry is how you have to work out where you are. So if there's no rivers, it's pretty difficult at times. But luckily, where I live has a river running through it. So yeah, so I was able to follow the river from an airport that was nearby, well, a local runway strip rather than an airport. And it was really, really interesting to like be able to find my own house and like fly around it and all that kind of stuff. Something it doesn't seem to render very well is castles. There's a castle where I live, and there's a castle in Portchester, and it doesn't quite get castles quite right. It like just treats them as big houses, I think. Just a little bit odd at times, and as a lot of the time you would use the castle as like a landmark. It can be really difficult to find places sometimes because that's what you're looking for and that just isn't there. I guess but with time obviously that will be added, and you can kind of tell what building it's trying to be. It's like a really weird mid-ground between a house and something else, but yeah, it'll all come in time, and it's constantly being updated, this game. Well, I say constantly, frequently being updated. Kind of like a dog sticking my head out the window there. Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that in real life. Should we do it? Should we do it? Should we do it? Oh, yeah. Speed things up a bit. You might play it, be a bit off. Right, so we're kind of getting close, I think. Yeah, 17. I still don't know where that unit is. It must be kilometers, but that doesn't look like a K to me. It looks like NM. I don't know what NM is. Oh. Actually, can't you hit? Oh yeah, I can hit. Perfect. Set it up. Right, okay. So kind of getting closer. So yeah, I'm going to try and find Portchester. I might fly over to Fair as well, and then we'll land in Lean Zone, which will be mean going past Lean Zone and coming back, but that'll be fine. It's bonkers that I can play this on a Quest. Standalone headset. Being able to play this. I mean, it's obviously playing on my gaming PC. It's being streamed, but still, like, the fact that it's possible is kind of bonkers. really appreciate the views in this game. Like, stunned to silence from time to time. I've been playing around a little bit with VR for a long time. The something I've been playing with recently is I saw a video where someone's completely replicated their own house in Unity, so that they can then play back in VR. And they were doing actually calibrate the headset so that it's in the correct place in the real world. So then you can touch things, and they're exactly where you expect them to be in VR. So I'm kind of experimenting with doing that for myself. So I've started modelling the ground floor basically of this house. Just started like blocking it out really, just to test the kind of fundamentals, and then I'll add more detail later. But yeah, no, it's really cool if that would be possible, because you can basically do like a kind of like a midpoint between AR and VR, where obviously you're not seeing the real world, but it's perfectly represented, so you can then do AR related stuff. And the way that I'm actually building the model in Unity, well, I'm building in Blender for importing in Unity, is through. So I did a scan using my phone, using the LiDAR on my iPhone. So you can actually like scan rooms and stuff like that. It's fairly like within like a couple of minutes, you've got like a near perfect representation of like an entire room, which is just bonkers. So yeah, I've been using that and managed to use that as basically a measuring tool. Although obviously there is a measuring tool on the iPhone, this just kind of gives you a whole map that I've then imported into Blender, and then I'm building the actual model around that, just because it's not perfect, so you don't really want to use the scan because you'll get various noise and things like that. So I've been creating it in Blender, and you can kind of then you can fiddle with geometry, so you can get it so that it renders really quickly and that kind of thing. Whereas if you were going to use the real scan, obviously it would be like crazy amounts of points and really slow to render. So yeah, there are a lot of benefits for like creating it for yourself. But yeah, so I'm going to play around with that, see what interesting things I can basically add to the VR space. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of what's possible really. Something that would be really cool is obviously the kind of virtual desktop kind of side of things. And by that I don't mean virtual desktop in the VR sense. I mean like as in the app. I actually mean it in terms of like a virtual workstation. Obviously a lot of people are working on that kind of thing at the moment. But if you've got your space completely represented in VR, then you can kind of your kind of world is your oyster with this kind of thing. You can set up screens, you can set up all sorts, everything you want really. And being able to share that space with other people as well is kind of an interesting avenue to explore. Right, okay, so I think we're coming up close to, what's the distance? Okay, yeah, so we're coming up close to Leon Solent. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to fly around Portsmouth a little bit. So I'm going to go visit the Spinnaker Tower. And then I'm going to hop across to Portchester from there, because I know my way from there, because I flew there late today. So I'm just going to drop the altitude down a little bit, and then we're going to fly across to Portchester Castle. So you've actually got, I think, so Spinnaker's just in front, so we're going to visit there. And we're going to follow the coast inward and go over to Portchester. And then I'm going to fly over to Ferrum, and then I'll loop my way back to Leon Solent for landing. I've only successfully landed once so far, and that took 2 attempts to actually land. Because I came in way too fast and just hopped on the runway, which wasn't the best thing. So hopefully I'll be able to learn from that and land a little bit better this time. But it doesn't really matter too much, because you literally can land anywhere. There is no like problem with crashing in this game. You can just reset and keep going. The only problem is you can't really reverse in a plane, so you can kind of get yourself wedged quite easily. There is like a reverse throttle thing, but I couldn't work out how to use it. But yeah, oh, that is really cool. I was swinging around the Spinnaker Tower here. It looked very pretty. Ooh, a little bit of texture glitching there, but other than that, still very pretty. So yeah, we're gonna fly by the Spinnaker, then I'll fly inland a little bit. Yeah, look at that. So pretty. I mean, Spinnaker's not that pretty, but just the fact that you've seen the Spinnaker in this game is beautiful, because it's a well-modelled thing. Right, here we are. So what we're going to do now, I'll fly inland a little bit, and then Portchester is just on the left up here. So I'm going to fly by Portchester Castle, continue on to Fareham by following the A27. I find that I'm either following a river or following a road in this game, because that's the only way you can really tell where you're going. I guess you do that in the real world as well. Is this the... Oh, that's the button for... Yes, okay. Landing in. Yeah, I'll get my landing, yeah. Oh, that's fine. Right, so it should be right in front of us, if I've got my positioning correct. Oh, fuck. Yeah, glitched out for a second there, I don't know really what happened, but I think it's still live. But yeah, so I'm going to fly towards Portchester. So maybe it's a little bit further inland. Maybe I've got my distances slightly wrong. Oh, it's there. I think that's... Yeah, that's that. Okay. Yeah, missed it. Right, let's spin around. Ooh. So that's... yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll show you what I mean about castles being a little bit weird. So this here is Portchester Castle, and it's got a church in it, and it's got the main tower. So on the left of this square on the outcropping there, on the left is the castle, and on the right is the church. And you see how the church is just basically a hotel in this thing, and then also the fort is another hotel. Now it's roughly the right size, like you've got the walls actually correct there, but it is a bit off, so it looks kind of weird. But yeah, it is amazing that they managed to do it anyway. Like the industrial estate here looks really good, because I guess it's good for like the AI to be able to work out what industrial estate should look like. Yeah, so just flying around my hometown, my old, that's Portchester School, the secondary school I went to. It's kind of cool. Swing around, I think, is this? Yeah, cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to follow the A27, which I think is this one. I think it's the A27. So I'm going to follow this road down, I'm going to follow it to Fareham. And then, actually, Leon-Solent. Oh yeah, so yeah, follow around to Fareham, we'll go through Gosport into the inside of it. That's ideal. Yeah, as I say, not very good with my geography, so that's why it's all over the place. So we've got, yeah, so we're just following the A27 towards Fareham. There we go. So Fareham should be coming up in front of us here. I wonder if they've got the two. Well, not the two. I wonder if they've got the high-rise council building. Yeah. I think that's it. I don't know a little bit. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, it's the thing where it's like close to being right, but it's not quite perfect, so you're never quite sure what you're looking at. But yeah, so we've got Fareham here, which is lovely. It does look familiar. I think, if I'm looking at it correctly. But yeah, so we're going to swing around into Gosport. So that's, yeah, because there's the bridge, and that's the single road into Gosport, which is always super congested. So yeah, so this is Gosport around here-ish. And then we're going to try and land over at Leon Solent, which is a little bit further along. You can see on the map there. Yeah, so we're going to do our best. I don't know what angle the runway is, so I don't know what my entry point is, but I think I should be able to land it if I... Oh, here it is. So I'm going to probably do a loop round so that I can get a better angle. But this is the runway that I'm going to be landing on. So yeah, I'm just going to fly out to sea, fly around in a circle, and then we're going to come in for a landing. So I'll fly over it first just to and then keep an eye on my speed. Actually, is that my altitude or is that my speed? I think that's my speed, yeah, cool. So yeah, so we're going to have a spin round, and we're going to try and land. So spin around there. Okay. Keep in mind what angle I need to come in for entry. But yeah, I'm going to start my descent and start slowing down a little bit. I think I was flying a jet last time I did this, so that's why it's a little bit more difficult. I think in slower planes like these, it's probably a little bit easier. I'm saying that now, but I'm probably not going to do it. Yeah, but yeah, so that's going to be good fun. So yeah, I'm bringing down my speed a little bit. Let's bring it down a bit further. I don't want to bring it down too full, that's probably too far because I can hear the engine going too low. Right, I need to be dropping my altitude quite drastically. Oh, I need to bring that here down. Yeah, it's probably not the best angle, because I should have been straightened up at this point. Yeah, and if this was real life, I would be absolutely terrified. Bring down the speed a little more. Altitude, landing gear is definitely down. Yep, all is green. Here we go. And touchdown. Yeah, we made it.